Hey everyone, John here, staff software engineer with 10 years of experience. I'm the lead maintainer of Latterly.io, which is an open source platform that will help you land your first or next programming role. You can sign up totally free. And today we are going to add a testimonial widget to this UI somewhere. Part of what we need to do is decide where we want to put it. I think I would like to put it right here above the fold, we say. So the fold is that bit of screen which you are able to see before you scroll down. So this is really valuable real estate for calls to action and so forth. So I'd like it to be here somewhere. So how can we make room, given that we already have stuff? We already have rows of stuff. One thing we can do is implement the mobile and the desktop differently. So being above the fold on mobile is a different task than being above the fold on desktop. I think we can shrink this text down. I'm bored of the bright pink by now anyway. We can shrink the text down. We might do a side-by-side thing. I think that's reasonable as well. We already have a side-by-side UI going on with the logo and what it helps you do. Probably I want the testimonials to be viewed before the recommended next steps. So probably I want the testimonials to go on the left hand over here. And so we'll push these bad boys to the right. And this is a win for mobile as well, because in the left to right, when it's columnized and flexed, the left will come up. So it's getting prioritized in left to right desktop and vertical on mobile. I'm a fan of this approach. That sounds good to me. So let's move forward with that. Okay, here's a feature branch, number 275. Copy this to my clipboard. We'll make a feature branch here in VS Code. Let me open up yet another terminal because we never have enough Chrome tabs and you never have enough VS Code terminals. Try to hit deactivate. It wasn't letting me earlier for some reason. Yeah. So it says that my VS Code is using this virtual environment. And yet I can't deactivate it. So that's weird. I guess we'll just leave it open then. It shouldn't hurt anything. If it really bugs me, then I'll Google about how to fix it. But really, it's just kind of annoys me on the terminal. Not a big deal. Let's see what branch I'm on. I'm on a previous fix branch. So I'll check out main, git fetch origin main, git pull, okay. And now I'll git checkout -b, and I'll say testimonial widget. That's what we'll call this thing, a testimonial widget. Let me collapse. I'm in a VS Code multi-root setup. So let me collapse some of these other repository bits of information that I don't care about right now. Why is the source control graph not collapsing? That's annoying. Okay, well, it works fine. So this is the one we're at, the one that I need to publish now. Oh, hey, there's a different open source game. Shout out to Aria Sale. Didn't mean to click that. So we'll publish this branch. Cool. We'll publish it to the origin. Make sure we're on there. Yeah. And so now we're ready to start it up. So Latterly is a monorepo. There are two top level folders. The Latterly.io is the T3 stack, which we're not dealing with. We are dealing with the Blitz app. So let me cd into the Blitz app. Here, I can npm run dev. npm run dev should launch my localhost. I'll hold command on Mac, click it, and boom, we got a localhost popping up. By the way, if you're on TikTok, you can check out my YouTube link. Link is in the bio. You'll be able to see the screen better, I think. If the video is interesting so far, hope you'll throw some likes on it. Consider following the page. All right, happy Saturday. Let's get into it. So this looks good. So I'm going to grab this bit of text, Command-Shift-F, enter. I'll skip the text resizing and the recoloring for now. We'll keep the scope minimal on this pull request. If it becomes apparent that this will be to our advantage for some reason, then I can always add it. Grabbing the string allows me to quickly find this homepage content TSX file that is React with TypeScript. Loud says, what are we doing here? We're adding a testimonial widget. Yeah, so what's a testimonial widget? That is, people have used Latterly and they're like, hey, Latterly is awesome. That's a testimonial. Does that make sense? And so we're going to showcase a few of these on the website. And we're going to put it right here in the left area. Okay, so recommended next steps. This will have an outer container. Let's inspect and grab it. This is called the next steps card. What a great name. Who named that component? What a great name. I see. You have a design set already. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. We're just going to do it. So here I have this div, which is containing both the next steps card and this other next step card. Okay, that's fine. And the pricing plan. This is where things break down. So I need an intermediary container that holds only these two. Holds only two. So I'll add a div above the recommended next steps card. So let's dive in. Here I'm clicking on the top div and then I'm going to follow down and look for the end tag. You see the end tag is sort of highlighted for me there. That's one advantage, one among many, of using an IDE like VS Code. Put the end tag and I save it. It auto formats on save. We love to see it. Now I have an extra div. So this one I can float left or right. Let's see what happens if I make the parent a flex. Yeah, okay. And then I want them to be columns. Flex direction column. Okay, and so then I've been able to float this div here to the right. Still looks good on mobile. Looks pretty good. And if I get rid of this, okay. I think that's operating as expected. We can try it with and without flexing the container. So let me try to put something here without flexing the container. So we'll use the style of the next step card. I think that's still fine. And I'll call this, just put some text in there for now. Temp, blah, blah, blah. That's how you know you're a real developer, when you do stuff like that. Okay, so here's temp, blah, blah, blah. And what I want it to do, I want it to be to the left of this recommended steps card. I'm going to cut it and move it out. Okay. We're still above. We're still above. So they could be inline blocks or they could be flex. These are our two options, basically. My bias is to use flex. Let's see, before I just do what I'm like biased to do. What would a block do? A block would hold its width better. If we specify a width, we're not going to, so it doesn't matter. I think flex works. Okay, so here I will have class name flex, and then we'll have flex direction, or I guess it's just going to be flex call. See, I have this autocomplete. That's coming from the Tailwind VS Code extension. Another reason you got to get one of these IDEs, because the extensions make everything like so easy. Yeah, thanks, Loud. He's trying to decide how to group the components. Thanks so much. Oh, I'll just have Claude write it. Nope. You need to have an idea before you ask Claude what to do. You could ask Claude, and the answer is going to be in your question. Because if you ask it to implement a flex, right, you're just going to ask it to put it side by side without saying whether or not to do flex. That's going to be dangerous. You need to weigh the pros and cons. So why did this not put them in line? What's on this styles next steps card? Okay. I'm going to click this and go over to here. Yeah, it's not taking me over there. Okay. Command C, Command P, V, enter. Oh, it's using kebab case. Yeah. Where all is this used? We can change that. Next steps card. We can change that, no problem. Oh, no, it needs to be that way. Let's see. I think it will still work like this. I think it will still work like that. So I'm going to Command F, open this, A, V, and just replace all of these blocks. Similarly over here, replace all these blocks. Next steps card. Okay, refresh. How do we look? Looks pretty good, right? I can mess it up on purpose just so that we can verify. Well, here's an easier thing to do. Background color red. Yeah, so you know it's attaching those rules, right? How do you know what code relates to what pixel illumination? What do you mean pixel illumination? Are you talking about the color? So this is through CSS binding and CSS selection. So this is a CSS class name. The period syntax means we're going to use a class-based selector. Okay, and so I know that that is going to bind when I use styles and I look up this rule because it's under the class name. Does that make sense? You Good says, where do you host your website? This is hosted on Vercel. And the database is hosted on Supabase. If you're finding the video interesting so far, hope you'll throw some likes on the video. Okay, so yeah, I don't want to keep that red, right? That was kind of like for verification, basically. What else is going on out here? Expected modern function notation. I don't know what it's mad about. I don't really care. This is going to be a sidetrack. I don't care about this stuff. Text link. If it's like 2 places, yeah, no, that's too many places. Okay, I don't care about this stuff. We'll let the CSS linter keep being mad. Okay, so got this change. I added this. And the question is, why is this not to the left? Right? And so to check on that, we were going over here. So do they need to be inline anyway? They might need to be inline anyway. I'm surprised that flexing it is not solving the issue. Oh, I can specify the width. That could help. So then I would make a next steps card like 50%. That's not going to be ideal. I could use a Tailwind style like width 50. Let's try this out. So if I tell this item, yeah, the width is 600. So the width is specified as 600 here. What if I take that away? And now I say the width is 50%. I could use percent or I could use flex units. So the width here is 50%. Let me go actually down to like 40% so that even after padding and margin, it's going to be less than half. And it's still centered. That's the real reason. AI, maybe move it to a code pen. No, that's not necessary. There's way to write it RGBA hex number. You can determine hue. Oh, I guess chat is just talking to themselves. That's okay. So here's the flex parent, and then it has 1, 2, 3 children. Is that what I want? Here's the flex parent, and it has 1. No, this is not what I want. Here's the flex parent. So this guy still needs to move up. I thought I moved it up. Maybe I didn't move it up far enough. Okay. I guess I didn't move it up far enough. Oh, maybe I just put the end div in the wrong location. So here's the end div I have. It's going to be at the end of book an expert session. Book. That is where I expect it. Yeah, I only have one item inside that div. Somewhere my in tags are offset incorrectly. So here, consider leaving a tip. Yeah, okay, so I'm cutting the div end off 155 and I'm moving it down under the leave a tip. And so I'll call this, I'll give it a name and that'll make it more clear. This is going to be the recommended next steps section. So let's turn this into a section. Instead of a div, we'll use a section. And I'll give it an ID, and the purpose of this ID is just for developer awareness. It's not technically needed. This would be the recommended next step section. Okay, and now this, I don't want to be a column. This, I don't want to be a column. This bit, I want to be a column. And then this bit, I think I want it to be a row. So let's see if I got this right. And it's too much in there. The pricing plans should come underneath. So I need one more div. Yeah, that's not totally surprising. So I need one more div. This flex row should end. It should include my new temporary one and the next step section. Includes both of those. Cool. There we go. Finally got it. What language is this? This is TypeScript, and it's gonna look like HTML because we're using JSX, which is a tool that is actually JavaScript, but the syntax is visually similar to HTML. Okay, so we got our card to the left over here. Now I want some spacing. I don't like how it's spaced currently. Before we deal with spacing, let's look on how it collapses. Okay, so when it collapses, it looks bad. I want this to pop over top on mobile. So here's flex row, and then I need to like, what's this? What's the, is it gonna be MD? It'll be MD flex row. That should make it on medium or higher, but by default, it will be a flex call. Okay. So now it's over the top on mobile and it's to the side on desktop. And you can see as we collapse this screen, it's going to use the Tailwind built-in breakpoints. Boom, there it pops over. There it pops over, kind of on a tablet. That's the medium size. Fabula says, where do you work? I work at my 9 to 5 is at a company called guideline.com. Any tips on getting internship? I'm second year into college. I haven't built any project. I think you answered your question, right? Build some projects. Social networking, build projects, apply. That's about it. You can join Latterly, latterly.io. You can join the Discord. That'll help you out with your social networking. Here's the checklist. This is going to be geared more to helping you get a junior level role instead of an internship, but most of it still applies. Your real key for internship is going to be really 3 things. Build a portfolio, get your resume done, get your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so get the material, get your material ready, social network, and then volume of application. But I don't know how to build any project because I have only done Java and only done backend stuff. I don't know how to build front end. Again, I think you're answering your own question. One thing is you can learn front end and then you can create your GitHub-based portfolio. The other thing is you can make a portfolio out of Java. You can do that as well. So yeah, the advice I still gave you still applies. Hop on the Discord. Let me know if I can help otherwise. Everything I said literally helps. But how do you write with 2 languages? Well, that's a very different discussion. You have front-end code and you have back-end code, and then you need to work on integration, right? So I'm not going to walk through that now. That's like not something that you can cover in like 5 minutes. How do you integrate front ends and back ends? It's easy for you to Google. If you sign up, like I told you, I'm not logged in, but the very first module is going to be search techniques. Let me log in and show you. So you go right here. So you join the Discord and then you do search techniques, and this will tell you how to integrate a front end and back end. You can use the search techniques and you'll learn it pretty quickly. Okay, so here we are back on the cards. I would like to create space between them, so I'll be using margin. Let me grab this element. We'll join the Discord. Great. Hope to see you there soon. We can prototype this using the inline style here. I'll say margin 1 rem. And look, that looks a lot better, doesn't it? I think 1 rem will be basically exactly what I want. But let's look what's the spacing over here so that we can have some similarity, consistency. That's going to be 4 rem gap. Okay, so we can use the gap style as well. We can use the gap style. That could be even smarter. That could be even smarter. And it does have margin. There's some padding over here, half a rem. What is the margin? 24 vertical. And is it by pixel, by rem? It's by pixel. It's by pixel. Okay. And so that's using the MY6 class. Okay, so for consistency, we will try to do the same and see how it looks. Okay. So the MY will be at the row level. MY will be at the row level. Actually, I think the row level vertical margin is already good to go. I think that's already good to go. And I think, look, I think the horizontal as well on the outside via this padding. I think the main padding handles the outside there as well. So I think really the only thing we should be concerned about in here is the gap, the flex gap. Flex gap is kind of like an additional way you can do spacing that's particular to flex, and it's when the elements are distributed, it will add spacing between them. One of the things that's interesting about the flex gap as opposed to the margin or the padding, if I have a class, let's say it's called card class, and I give all the cards a rem of padding. Well, it's going to generate 2 rem because both cards side by side are each going to have the 1. Okay. Same with margin. If I give all the cards 1 rem margin, there's actually going to be a 2 rem gap. And so being able to use this term gap is a more idiomatic, intuitive way to say like, no, I want the whole gap to be 1 rem. I don't want each card to have 1 rem of margin. I want the whole gap to be, that's why we have gap basically. Does that make sense? What's the Tailwind class for gap though? Is it just gap? I think it's just gap, like gap-2 or something. Gap-16. There's a gap 0 and a small gap 16. Okay, so this is transitioning on small, not medium. Again, we'll do this consistently. So here I set up the transition on medium. Let me change that over to small. So instead of popping over at the tablet size, it's going to pop over on the cell phone size. That's the small breakpoint. And then where's the gap? Gap 0 by default with a small gap, what, 6, was it? 16. All right, let's try this out and see how it looks. Now there's a big old gap, maybe too big. Albert, hello from Twitch. Thanks for being here. I don't like that gap. I think it looks too big when we compare it to the edge padding, right? So the upper section doesn't have to deal with that problem because the whole thing is collapsed in. We could follow a similar strategy, basically reducing the width of these cards. That's an option. How does it look on cell phone? On cell phone, I'm also not liking the 0 gap here. Albert says, how are you doing today? I'm doing well. Even better now that you're here. Always good to have questions and engagement from the audience. This 4 looks really good to me. Okay, on cell phone, I think that looks great. I do want it to be consistent with this item down here. So I could make this item down here participate in the flex, or I could just use margin because that guy down there is using margin. So we can also be consistent by just using margin. I'm going to go for that. I'm going to go for that. And so that's a half a rem margin on top, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, margin top, half a rem. So for consistency, I'll stick with the gap 0 by default. By default, meaning on mobile. We're mobile first. But then I will have a MT. No, it'll be MB. So consistent with the bottom card's margin top, the top card's margin bottom. So MB What's it going to be, a 2 or a 4? I'm not sure. Let's take a guess. Let's take a guess. Oh, I put it on the wrong element. My bad. So the MB4 is not on the container. It is on the card itself. That also did not seem to work. So here's an MB4, and I guess it's getting overwritten somehow. P6 is working. Border ace is working. Here's the margin bottom, the MB4, and it's overwritten. So there's some other rule which is more specific that's being applied. Albert says, are you using stream elements item? I am not. I am not. Okay. Home next steps card is that entity that is applying a margin style more specifically. So does that mean this one does not have a next steps card class? Next steps card. It does. Oh, does it also have an inline style then? Yeah, this one has an inline style of a margin top. Okay, we could be consistent with that. I'm increasingly not like, so at some point you don't want to be consistent with bad code. So let's weigh that decision. I could take the margin top and invert it on the top card, have a margin bottom. That will not be responsive. It will apply whether we are on mobile or not. Or we can go for the gap approach. And why not use a gap? I think we should use the gap approach. If it doesn't work, we can fall back to this. Inline style will work and it will override, but it's not a best practice, bro. Albert says, I'm talking about overlays because this isn't looking customized. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I said that I'm not using it, right? I'm not using it. All right, if you're finding the video interesting, throw some likes on the video. Hope you'll follow the page. Okay, so we have this gap 0. We're going to bump that up to a gap 4. I liked the gap 4. And now I need to ensure that it's also propagated down to these guys. So I'll add it on the column flex container as well. And there we have it. It's looking good to me. It looks good on mobile. How does it look on desktop? Looking good, looking good. So the gap 4 thing looks great. Now this gap here, I still maintain is too large. It's too large. So let's shrink that down. I'm not even sure that I like it up here. I guess it makes more sense up here. That's fine. That's fine. We check the consistency, and then if there's a good reason to break it, we can break it. Here I'm seeing a pretty good reason, which is just that it visually doesn't look good. We can add more exterior margin to create exterior real estate. And if there's more exterior real estate, the interior real estate looks more balanced. But it also cuts our card out, which I would like to minimize. This does look a bit big though, now that we have 2 elements here. So I'm down to shrink. I'm down to do both, really. I'm down to shrink these, and I'm down to shrink this middle way. So let's do the middle way first, just because it's easier. We know where the code is, right? So Is it the SM gap 16? I sure said we know where it is quickly, and then I didn't know where it was. How about we make that a 4 as well? So I think this is acceptable. Chat, let me know your thoughts. I get it could look a little bit crowded. Yeah, looks a little bit crowded maybe. So let's try testing out here. We'll test out the increase in margin. And that's going to be vertical. I don't want to do vertical. Don't want to do vertical. How do I want to do this? If I just make it 2 rem. Okay. So you see we're getting larger margin now. Which has some advantages and some disadvantages. Let's cut the width now and see how that works. What if I go down to 400? That helps us a lot, you know? Let's see. I like the way the left hand looks now, although the left hand is arguably a bit big still. How long have you been coding? Over 10 years. I don't know if we're closer to 10 or 11, but it's over 10 years. So what we might want to do is a right-left pattern where we give right margin to this guy and left margin to this guy. So we don't treat them equally, basically. Whatever I do right now, the interior is going to, the interior and the exterior will never balance for any amount of margin because the gap will always be added. So what if I turn the gap to 0? So what if I make this 1 rem, okay? I'm gonna try making this 1 rem and then removing the gap. Let's see how that works. Is this your real work? No, this is my side project. It's the weekend. I'm just having fun. It's an open source project. So laterally.io, you can go check it out now. Okay, so we're removing the gap. And now we're going to try to alter the margin to 1 rem. And it looks okay. There's too much space here maybe, but that's another gap we can eliminate. Or we can just ignore the vertical vector. Ignore the vertical vector. So yeah, here we eliminate the gap. I think that looks good. Or we retain the gap and our margin becomes horizontal margin only. Both look good to me. Albert, is it Albert or Alberta? Maybe it's Alberta John. Says, oh, by the way, what do you mean besides streaming? I mean job or business. I think you're asking what is my profession Monday through Friday, like my day job. So I'm a software engineer in a fintech company. Hopefully that answered your question. Okay, so I think this looks pretty good. Now let's try reducing the width as well. Yeah, I think this looks pretty good now. So here is the pain point, is that I want the margin and I want it all centered. I want the margin and I want it all centered. I could use align items. Let's try aligning items. Align items center. What's that going to do? That is a vertical consideration. Mousy, thanks for the likes. Okay, so that's not what I want. What about Justify Content Center? Yeah, baby. Doesn't that look good? You know that looks good. I don't care who you are. You know that looks good. Do you stream daily? No, brother. No, I do not. Thanks for the question. It's an excellent question, but I would lose my mind if I streamed every day. I regularly stream on Saturdays, and besides Saturdays, it's totally whenever I have free time. It's totally ad hoc and random besides Saturdays. Now, realistically, I stream like a few times a week, but they're not all on a stream schedule. They're like pretty random. Yeah. Now, you can join Laterally, go to the Discord, and I usually drop a note on the Discord if I'm going to randomly go live. I'll say like, hey guys, I'm about to go live. Here's another fun fact. You can mark that you would like to join a stream. So even a lot of people who are website users don't know this is a setting. So if you go to your account, if you go to settings, you can scroll down, interested in joining a live stream. And you can say, you can also mark open to work. I should talk about these features more. A lot of people that even signed up to the website don't know that these exist. You can enable a public profile if you're looking for work. You know, LinkedIn, you have like the looking for work. So this will let you be noticed here. And I send this to recruiters all the time. So a lot of recruiters are going to see this page. And then we have Hacktoberfest coming up. So it's September 28th. So October, next month, we're doing Hacktoberfest, which is a worldwide open source contribution event. And so if you mark this thing, you'll be getting an email about Hacktoberfest contributions. You can also check out the GitHub and look for, I think they're going to be good first issues. Good. Let's go for the labels. Label, good first issue. Yeah, and you see a bunch of the good first issue also say Hacktoberfest. So these are issues that you can work for Hacktoberfest. Give me the link. I'd love to join. Oh, very, very kind. All right, let me grab a copy of it. So it's laterally.io, and then it's here. So let me copy this. And can't post message to some channels. That's going to be a bummer. There may be like a 5-10 second lag. Wait about 30 seconds and let me know if you can see that link or not. I got a notification that it won't be posted to some channels and it didn't tell me which. So that's dope. Okay. So here is, here's the thing. Here's what we want, right? Maybe it's a little bit too big, but this is really in the right direction. Let me take what we've prototyped and save it. By the way, the text here is now way too large, isn't it? So we will end up shrinking this. So let me go for XL. That still looks weird. What if I just say L? Maybe that's too small, huh? I feel like the recommended next steps can get an XL and then the text under it gets an L. Yeah. We're on the right path, my friends. Okay, so here I've taken the 600 width down to a 400, okay? On mobile, it's 300, by the way. All right, we'll retain that. We'll retain that. And I've made this into a what? Now I've already forgotten. Was it one rem? I think it was one rem. And we made it horizontal only, did we? Or do we drop the gap? Let's try dropping the gap and see if they're equivalent. Then that would be simpler because it saves me a class. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So here's the row, and here is the gap 4. Okay. I think it works. And then I need to justify the group. Okay. So let me get the gap 4. Joined. All right. Thanks so much. Hey, Chris, thanks for the follow as well. Thanks everyone for being here. If you're enjoying the video, consider throwing a like on the video. That helps the algorithm send the stream to other people who may be interested. Okay, so here, sent you a request on Discord. Can I follow you? Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So we got rid of the gap, and now I want to justify. What level do I want to justify? I want to justify the flex row level. Okay. Justify center. Let's see. Yeah, that's looking great. Okay, so we'll go ahead and commit where we're at, and then I need to fine tune the text size over here, and then I may want to, like, obviously I have more work to do on that left hand over there. The whole bit may also be too tall. Okay, no, we still maintain an affordance that I should scroll down because we see pricing plans at the bottom, right? So we still maintain that affordance, which is pretty important. We would get even more of it though. I like to peak, possibly if I can, I like to peak that much to get the word free on the screen. So we might put a little legwork in to bring the content vertical. What would that be? Maybe 2 rem. Does that make sense? If you have any questions or comments, throw something in the chat. Bam, let's flip the hat. Let's flip the hat. Let's get serious, gang. This hat doesn't look good backwards. They hate to see silly goose money. Boom, backwards black hat, undefeated. A true classic. We have levers here, right? We can slice some padding off the top here, here, so we can move it up vertically if needed. Why learn to code when AI will be writing it all soon? Because AI will not be taking your job. Someone using AI will be taking your job. By the way, if you sign up for Latterly, if you go to the search skills, I teach you how to use AI properly. That's like the main search skill now. So AI is not going to do your job for you. You have to still like ask it, and you have to know how to ask it properly, and then you have to know how to review its feedback and correct it and guide it. And then planning of AI is highly limited. So AI is not effective at multi-step reasoning. Even O1 Preview, which I've done reviews for, right? Like I'm like an industry leader in the engineering AI space. So my title is Staff Software Engineer in Generative Applied AI. So like this is what I do. I'm like really good at this stuff. And I've done reviews on the YouTube channel. Like whenever, the new Opus model comes out, the new Claude model comes out, Cursor, this tool, that tool. aristail.com is a generative AI test bed. So like the reason this exists is to do generative AI art, generative AI music, coding, games, like all the things, video. So I know the space really, really well. And I'm here to tell you, you can't build a very good website with AI today if there's not a human in the loop. Like the automated agents, first, even the automated agents, you need to prompt and ask them to do work. But they're just not very good. Like Replit, like the industry leaders here, I have a broken Discord bot on my Replit right here. It just can't build stuff. Anyway, I digress. Watching on Algora. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad to see someone for Algora. You're my first viewer from Algora, actually. Welcome, welcome. Chris says, so Dimitri said 100. All right, love it, Dimitri. Appreciate the love. Chris says, I'm just looking for something new. I tried AWS, but I didn't finish it. Latterly has recommended projects. So if you sign up, free checklist over here, there's the big four projects. They're not really complicated. They're not really crazy. They get your foundation going in full stack development. And yeah, I mean, once you get past here, you can start doing or you can contribute to Latterly itself. That's going to be an awesome thing for you to work on. Or Aria's Tail. These are community open source projects. They are pretty complicated, so something on the more complicated end. Or you can just drop by the Discord and just chat about, like, we can ideate all day long, right? There's a lot of good ideas to be done. There's no shortage of good ideas. There's shortage of good engineers. Okay, let's get down to business to defeat. Let me refresh the page to make sure I've saved everything. I think I have. Would you embed chat on live stream? Yeah, in fact, I thought I had a chat widget. You know what? I have my chat widget hooked up to OBS. It's not hooked up to Restream. Window could be a little bigger. Yeah, I agree. So I can flip these guys, and now the code's bigger and my head's smaller. And for the live stream, that makes more sense, right? But what I do is I take my live streams and I send them over to Opus Clips. And Opus Clips will cut the stream into like short form video. And if I do the screens like it is right now, Opus Clips cuts it wrong. And it like cuts my face in half. So, all right, I'll do the rest of the stream here. You know, the audience gets what the audience requests, right? So I'll finish the rest of the stream this way, but I think Opus is going to like mess up my clips on this, which is kind of a bummer. Appreciate the feedback. Yeah, a chat tool would be great though. All right. Oh, can I do it like this? Hey, let me know. Can you see the chat now? I don't know if I can see that or if everyone can see that. Okay, y'all can see it now. I don't know like how good that looks, but it's there. It doesn't look bad. Okay, cool. All right, we'll leave that going for a bit. Thanks so much for being here. Let's do some code, shall we? So what's going on with this stuff? This is probably too big. We need to put some content in there to see. Oh, we wanted to fine tune the text sizes. So recommended next steps should go down to an XL. I didn't commit my stuff over here. So this is going to be spacing. So this is style spacing for testimonials. I can just say style testimonials. Testimonials. Okay, cool. And now we have recommended next steps. Let's knock this down to an XL. Command S. Then this XL would just become an L, as would these. We'll replace a few of these. Replace. Cool. I think it's still highly readable, chat. What do you think? Let me do cell phone form. I think we're still totally readable. Okay. The bottom margin on the product hunt thing is bugging me. I want to add some bottom margin there. Here's a list item. So this list item has flex item center, and then this one doesn't. Okay. MY2 maybe. No. Not on the, oh, okay. I want it to be, I guess, at the, anchor level. Why did MY2 only do the upper margin? It didn't do the lower margin. Is that just a ordered list thing? Yeah, see, that looks better, right? If we can get the margin on there. Margin. See you later, maybe on the Discord. Hey, thanks for being here. See ya. Let's just do margin, one rem, auto. That looks good. That looks good. So so that would be combining MY with MX auto. But the MY is not sticking for some reason. Yeah, it's this complicated rule right here. It's getting overridden by who? Yeah, what is this? What? This is like actually native to Tailwind, some crazy rule here. Okay. What if I apply it at the anchor level then as a next best alternative? That doesn't help. It's boxed in. It's boxed in. If I make it a block, we're good. Do I want my anchor to be a block? Yeah, it can be a block. That's fine. I mean, we're basically treating this as a block link anyway, because yeah. Okay, I'm fine with that. So let me refresh the page to wipe everything. I'll go here to the product hunt. I'm undoing the LI style. I am going to class the anchor as a block, and then I'm going to give it an MY2 and MX. I don't think I need the MX auto, but whatever, we'll do it. Okay, I think it's operating as expected. Maybe I need to bump it up to a 4. It kind of looks fine, right? Yeah, there's this lopsided because the LI is giving top. So it's kind of lopsided in that regard, which I don't really enjoy. Or is this a block? Oh, that worked. Okay. This works. So this will work if it's larger. It seems like it'll work if it's larger. It just won't work if it's smaller. So let me do an MY. Let me just do an M4, M6, M8, something like this. One of these might work. So here's an M4. Yeah, that looks too low. That looks too low. Let's do an M8. It's not working now. Why did it work a second ago? The bottom is getting truncated somehow. Okay, yeah. So when I use tailwind is truncating the bottom space. So we get rid of this space rule, and now they're too close together, right? So that's bad. But now what if I use a gap instead? Gap 6. Let's try using a gap instead. Space Y3, we will try as flex gap. 3 is like a weird one. I'll go for 4. Right. And then flex call. Okay, I think this looks better, right? Doesn't that look better? And now it's not truncating the bottom space anymore, I think. And M8 really is too much. So now we'll go down to M4. So this 4 will be aligned with this gap 4. So that's a nice visual alignment in this space level. I think that looks better, yo, don't you? Now maybe it's too much space. Maybe I need to collapse it all vertically up so that I can get some testimonials in affordance of the testimonials on mobile. I think that's going to be really good. But this looks great. Okay. Let's do what I just described. So we'll maintain this pattern, but we'll alter the numbers such that I get an affordance of testimonials on mobile. I think the word testimonial should be inside the card. Do you? I think so. Here's some space up here. We have MY6. We can drop that down. MY6. Do we need any MY at all? So if we get rid of all the MY, we still have some margin internal to that region. Yeah, so I think this is probably a smart move. What do you think? And then on mobile, it also works. And now we're getting that temp blah, blah, blah. Cool. And what I'm seeing here is that I'm going to want to put the testimonial person's name at the bottom. So it can just give you the text here. Maybe I do want like a title here that says like hear from our users or something. Yeah, what others are saying. Let's use GPT here. Chat, let me know if you have a thought. What others are saying, testimonials, or hear from our users. So let's get your thought. I'm also going to leverage GPT-4 as a feedback mechanism. Consider the following 3 copy options for a website. Testimonials widget. Which heading or subheading text is most compelling to generate social proof? Testimonials, what others are saying. Hear from our users. I don't know. What else should we do? Something else. Please suggest. Let's do one more. What's one more? How about users love us? Or why users love us can add a sense of curiosity. Sure. Sure. Why users love us. Okay. So we got blah, blah, blah. And before that, we are going to write here. This will be a section with ID testimonial. Testimonials. And then here we'll have an H2. Why users love us. Are we killing the game? Are we killing the game or not? And you see, now you get the peak, above the fold peak, why users love us. You know you want to scroll on that. Am I right or am I right? You know you want to scroll down. Well, why do they love us? Oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to sign up right now. And the recommended next steps could be improved. Also, this should be smaller so that it doesn't take up 2 rows. Yeah. So it can be L on mobile and then XL. We'll do small, activate the XL. Text is L by default. Cool. Really, it should just say like sign up now, I think. Yeah, it's not really smart to be like, do this, and you send them right to an error page. That's not really ideal. Let's do font bold on the here. And then I want to align it with the card. So what do we have? We got the padding, and then we have an additional 6, an additional P6. And so this would be a PX6 for horizontal alignment only. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's great. PX6. Okay, so far so good. We can still bring it up vertically some more, although I think it's going to be fine. This one, we get rid of the MY6. Whoa, that doesn't look good. What happened here? Laterally helps you. Need that one. There's like a different one. The one that has BG Frost on it. Where are you at? Okay. Okay, cool. That was the wrong. The wrong NY6, my bad. I didn't realize there was more than one of those. Yeah, so this is looking better, I think. And are we good on that? And now this does need a little bit of margin top, doesn't it? Yeah. So this whole row can have like just like an MT2, MT4, something like that. Let's start with less. Less is more, preserving the real estate. On desktop, it doesn't look great, I gotta say. Because it's out of alignment with recommended next steps. That's the reason. That's definitely the reason. One thing we could do here is leverage the frost on the card, and then there would be no expectation of left-right equivalence. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. This needs to be more. Yeah, we need a full rim. Okay, so M24. Looks good. Checky check, mic check. Okay. So I think that's looking good. Here on the desktop, I don't like this here on the desktop. It needs to stand out more. So here's an XL and here it's a not. Okay, so maybe the XL is going to be the difference. Let's try and throw a text. A similar text, or maybe we need to oversize it, like laterally helps you. Maybe we need to oversize it on desktop. Okay, so aligning the H2 style for the row. Now they're aligned, right? I think it works. If we frost this card out, I think it'll work. What about on mobile? It still looks pretty good on mobile. It does seem like a lot of space down there, but I guess it's coming from coming from other elements. It's coming from this card. Yeah. So what if we make this an M2? Then it's too little down here, isn't it? Maybe M3 was right all along. Kind of seems like M3 was right all along. Okay. So on my dash 4s here, I'm going to make that an M3. And there was another one. So M6 and M3 goes together. Laterally helps you. These M3s are all aligned. MT4. So this can be an MT3 and then small activate MT4. Now we're going to have some more vertical on the Y users love us. And then gap here, coming down to gap 3 to align with the M3. So on mobile, this still looks good to me. It looks good to me. And then on desktop, yeah, looks good to me. What do you think, chat? I think it looks good to me. So now I think I want to reduce these margin 1 rem. I want to reduce these now that we kind of shrunk we made everything else more compact. So let's align these to be more compact. So 0.5 feels more on brand. Cool. And then the MT3 on this div, I can move onto the heading itself. So MT3, let me cut that, move it onto the heading itself. And then let me go to the style file here. Nope, not doing that again. Okay, kind of doing a visual regression check. Yeah, it looks nice and aligned. What about the testimonial author, like their name and avatar displayed? Exactly. Yeah, I need to do it. Loki, the previous scene was nicer where your window was bigger. I can't see the code anyway. Do you mean when the overlay is gone like this? This one is nicer, or flipping the head is nicer? Can also do that. That doesn't look good. Your window on the left. I can also do one of these as well. This is probably the easier one for you to see, right? We'll do this for a while. Let me know if I should change it. Thank you for the feedback, by the way. Okay. This is looking good. And then over here, full screen was nice. Cool. Yeah. I really only do the other one for the Opus clips, like I say. So it's always a trade-off, right? How many viewers are going to watch the stream versus how many viewers are going to look at the short form video clip. So this looks pretty good, I think. And now I get my affordance pricing plans and I get the word free on the screen. That's a big win for me. On the mobile, why users love us on the screen. This is really good, team. From a technical design perspective, this is really good. So let me go ahead and put a commit, and then we will put the card content and then check frosting the background as well. So this style is why users love us heading. It's really a feature. Why users love us. I'll push that. Let me go ahead and open the pull request so we can get the build running. This is going to partial 275. Okay. Looking good. That's prod. Here is localhost once again. Just at a high level, I think the change from prod to localhost feels good. Feels like a good change to me. I'm not even seeing the word free peaking on prod, so it's like a bonus win, I think. And this recommended next steps feels so loud. And honestly, the smaller text, like I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Okay. So let's go for the content. And how do I want to do this content? I can have a random select. Do a random select over. I have 3 of these testimonial texts that I've been given. I think a random select is fine. Cool. And this is the right time, I think, to bring in a language model because it's just going to be some boilerplate work. So Command A, C. I'm going to GPT-4o. Okay. Please update the code below to randomly select a testimonial data object and render it in the space, which currently says blah, blah, blah. Has a paragraph saying temp blah, blah, blah. I'm going to say TSX to contextualize it about the language. We'll close that. And then here I will say testimonial data has 3 properties. Testimonial text, testimonial URL, or like testimonial LinkedIn URL, testimonial person's name, testimonial name, testimonial testimonial giver name. How about that? Testimonial giver name. What do you think, chat? Let me know. Okay, so Calvin, he. Shout out, Calvin. Thank you so much. Glad Glad that Latterly was good for you. Okay, next is going to be name. Losing my tab. To our friend Pratik. There are 3 testimonials right now. 2 are below, and 1 is attached by image. So we'll attach that by image. There's Calvin He, there's Pratik, and the third is our friend Chris Flannery. Losing all my tabs again. Cool. All right. Rock and roll, GPT. Put it all together for me. Why is ChatGPT useful to use in this case? First of all, it's a boilerplate. Second of all, we have an expectation of what the output looks like, so I can easily verify it. Look, you see how it gave me this well-defined schema list? That is exactly what I expected it to do. And I already know how I'm going to be revising it. I'm going to be dropping in Pratik's LinkedIn right there. I expected it to do a UI-centric implementation. If it had suggested an API call, I would be calling BS. So we know what we're looking for. We're not just like blindly trusting a language model. That's actually potentially dangerous to do that. I'm going to copy this all. I've already looked at some of it and it looks good to me. This doesn't mean I'm going to copy it and then ship it. By no means. We are going to copy it and then look at the git diff. Okay. Oh, testimonial block. Oh, it gave us an isolated component. That's actually really cool. Testimonial block. Yeah, this is something here is really bad. It cut out a ton. Advanced checklist content block. It cut out a ton of my. It cut out a ton of my stuff. Oh, it's just not reporting the definition of the advanced. Got it. It's thinking that that's imported from somewhere, which it probably should be, right? Yeah. Okay, we can extract that as a component. That's fine. Fine with me. So here I am reverting this. Okay. Why is this not updating? I don't know. Do I really want to move it? Like, why am I moving it? No one else is using it. I just as soon leave it here. I'll leave it here. But I will grab the testimonial content block. So I'm just going to surgically grab this testimonial content block. And I'll drop it in right there. Okay. Use effect, say react dot use effect, react dot use state. Here we'll safely operate. Okay, so we'll want to give this a type. Copilot should totally be able to help me right now. I don't know why Copilot is not predicting the rest of that. These are just all strings. Stir is Python. Is it not string? Okay. Got the LinkedIn URL, I got the giver name. I like to sort these alphabetically. Oh, we'll sort the imports too, why not? Get rid of those grammatical quotes. Giver name first. Okay, those are sorted. These look good. And I will grab Pratix. LinkedIn. Thanks again, Pratik. Here's this. Okay, GLT, GLT, GLT. They're looking good. So here's the testimonials. This is a list of testimonials. And now we can go make this type satisfied. Okay. We're saying that it can be a testimonial or null. I really don't want it to be null. Really don't want it to be null. I'm not super sure why we are using state here. Yeah, why not just select a random one? Why not just select a random one and serially render immediately? I'm going to send that, but first I want to grab, okay, that's all we got to do. Is just replace the paragraph with that. That's great. So say the blah, blah, blah. Saying, great question. Cool, and it's saying we don't need to use those. Awesome. Command click the testimonial block. I'll collapse it and then replace it. Cool. Yeah, it's still concerned that it's possibly undefined. We could throw an error if it's undefined. Really, it will never be undefined. We could throw an error. The other thing we can do is extract a default. This is a pretty common pattern in these situations. So default testimonial. Am I spelling that word right? Testimonial. Sheesh. I didn't go to grammar school, you know what I mean? Yeah, it doesn't want to do it that way either. Okay, we'll do it the reverse way. So you're the default testimonial. Okay. And so it's that or the default, and that satisfies the type operator. So that situation should never occur, but that's how you can solve it. See, this is all looking good. It even grabbed some style in there for me and made it pink. I'm not sure if that's going to look good, but technically the linter is looking good. All right, let's see how it looks. Hey, nice and pink. I don't know. I don't know about this. I actually like the clean text here. I think it's really readable, but I don't know about this being pink. I also don't like that my eye is drawn to the right when I want people to read this stuff. The laterally leak code kata is awesome. After using it for about 2 months, I'm notably more efficient and confident in coding interviews. Love to see it. Refreshing. We get a bunch of different ones. Cool. So I want to lighten this text. Provide low-cost education in STEM. Also, almost nobody gives me a tip over there. It's really sad. So text M. What if I drop? Oh, this is an H3. Yeah, what if I just make it a paragraph? Yeah, I think this is better, eh? What do you think, chat? I think this looks better. Okay. Let's pare down the products review. I don't think all that text was meant to be there. I just got off an interview. It was thanks to Latterly's networking scripts. I had initially asked for a referral for a role, but it was filled. However, due to my resume being passed down to the hiring manager, I got an interview for the same role again. I don't think we need to include this bit. Let's say I just got off an interview that I obtained thanks to Latterly's networking scripts. Hope you don't mind me taking a little bit of editorial here. My resume was passed down to the hiring manager. It's all thanks to you, John. Thank you very much, but I don't think that would be helpful for the Latterly brand necessarily. I owe everything to John and Latterly.io's open source curriculum. Cool. I think we got the same idea for less text there, basically. So let's see how it renders now. Refresh a few times till I can see it. I think it was already fine. It wasn't like a really big deal. Yeah. And now that it's shorter, I can still see that word free, which is what I was wanting. I just got off an interview that I obtained thanks to Latterly's networking scripts. My resume was passed down to the hiring manager. I owe everything to John and Latterly.io's open source curriculum. It seems like a little bit much, but that's what they said. So thank you very much. I just got off of an interview. Cool. All right. So I think this looks good. LinkedIn. So here, instead of this, let's get rid of the pink. And let's not bold this. We'll add another paragraph here. And this will just say, connect on LinkedIn. And then I do want to bold the person's name. And it's going to be a span rather than a paragraph. Why is it a span? So this ternary is not needed. We will use the anchor. We can use the anchor and ternary to null or null. Cool. So this looks pretty good. Awesome. After using it for about a month or about 2 months, I'm notably more efficient and confident in coding interviews. Connect on LinkedIn. We want that to open in a new tab for sure. Target blank, already good. Already good. Right on. What do you think, chat? Looks pretty good? Did we do the thing? Let's check mobile real quick. Let's check tablet. Okay, I'm on a tablet. I think it still works. It gets awkward right there for a few pixels. Boom, right there. It's kind of awkward, but then it fixes. Why users love us. The Latterly Elite Code Kata is awesome. And then this is still going to work on mobile, right? Yeah. Cool. All right, everyone. I think it's mission accomplished. I'm going to call the stream there. Hope you'll follow the page. See you next time.